Welcome back to Switches, Tips, and Knobs, where I flip them, twist them, and poke them for my pleasure. I was able to get my hands on one of the new Synergy heads. And unfortunately, this is just going to be an unboxing video because the module that I ordered is not here yet. So I'm gonna move the camera around and put this bad boy up and do an unboxing video. I'm just gonna put it right here in the chair, if that's okay with you. Uh-oh. Sounds like something's loose in there. That chair is not fat boy friendly. Alright. Let's get a cutting tool. Sorry if you can hear me breathing. It is becoming allergy season, and I'm going to be doing that more and more. Warranty registration card. Instruction manual. Instrucción manual. Boy, it'd be nice if there was secretly a module in here. Oh, I found what was rolling around. It's the power cord and USB cord. Oh, and the MIDI cord for the foot switch. There's the MIDI foot switch. And that's pretty much it, just packing materials. And there she is. Oh, we're not tall enough here. Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and get this out of the plastic and we'll move around. I guess I could have set it on top of the box in the chair. That'd be like the perfect height. Let's do that. And there it is. In all of its glory. Look at that thing. That looks like a VCR when you stick your finger in there and hold the door open. Only there's no little magnetic rolly head things. And I agreed with one of the other guys that had made a video on this recently. This definitely should be like the translucent plastic that lights up when you turn it on and when you switch channels. Almost every other lunchbox head does that. I mean, I know that this is quite a bit more than a lunchbox head because of everything that you're going to get to do with it. Namely, selecting your flavor. One day you might like Coke, one day you might like Dr. Pepper. Who knows? But that, and I don't even think that that's plastic. I think that that's a piece of aluminum, like bar stock, just behind the cutout. And it might not even be aluminum. It may just be another kind of, just a slab of metal that's screwed on there to have the contrasting colors in the name. And I'm kind of hoping that when I upload it, that this reads the right way, because to me right now it's not. But that's okay, I guess. Alright, there's not really much else I can do with this other than show you the stuff that it came with. You can apparently use this as just a power amp without a module in it. I guess we could try that. We can hook it up and see if I can do the software portion and connect to it. There are a ton of things on the back here. You can rock out with your headphones in, or there's your effects loop, so you can use it like just a power amp, which a lot of people don't really care for using EL84 power amps. I've had 2 amps that use EL84s, and the only thing that I really can say that I didn't like about the EL84 was the presence control. Because if you dialed the presence control just a hair too high, the amps get super hairy. And if you've done that before, you know exactly what I mean. Looks like we've got a single 16 ohm out, 2 8 ohm out, and 2 4 ohm out. And there's not like a switch to determine, you just have to use them accordingly as labeled. I was kind of thinking that somewhere on here it would say Made in USA, but it does not. It doesn't even say anything like designed in such and made by such and sent to China or anything like that. Does it say it on the box? Oh, yep. And apparently, if you take the sticker off of the box, it voids the warranty. Where is my... Let's see, I'll just take a picture of that with my phone. And it looks like... Oh yeah, there's another sticker right there. We can see that right on the bottom. Okay. So these are made in China. I thought Synergy was a US thing. And right there, serial number, made in China. Warranty void if removed. Well, it's not super heavy. That's a good thing for me. I would say it weighs about the same as the PRS MT15, which I no longer have, coincidentally. Yeah, I really can't wait for the module to get here so I can jam out the clam out. super cool. And these are, I mean, there's already been a ton of videos on these. All of your major YouTubers have already had their hands on them and made videos and whatnot. I actually wanted one of these a while back. Not this specifically. I just found out about these a couple months ago when they did the NAMM stuff. But and we all know what module I really want, because it's the same module that you all want. Are you listening, Synergy? Are you listening, Fortin? We want the Killer Cali. Give it to us already. Took me days to decide that I wanted the Fryette Deliverance module, only to find out that there are none for sale within the States. Toman is the only one that has them, and I didn't want to wait 2 or 3 weeks to get it. So I ordered SLO2. But I really wanted the Fortin Killer Cali, just like everyone else. Don't tease us with stuff and then not give it to us. It's not cool. But yeah, there it is. Oh yeah. I've had several foot switches that came with amps, but I've never had a MIDI foot switch. So this is going to be a learning experience for me. These are not latching. They're momentary, but I'm assuming since it's MIDI that you don't have to have it latching, that momentary just button pushes will work. It seems solid. It's that same kind of textured press brake sheet metal design where nothing is really welded, although it looks like a lot of these seams right here would almost have to be on the other side, like a spot weld of some sort, because there is a seam line right there, and you can see where this was also like laser cut and press brake bent. You got 3 screws on each side. Hell, I guess we could take that apart. I could be the first one to take one apart. I'm not going to take this apart though, because I don't want to screw this up. But we could at least pull the top off of it and see what the environment looks like there. And I don't think that this would be anything that would void a warranty, because you would have to remove this to change the tubes or something like that. I mean, I don't even know if there's a bias control in this. Most tube amps have to have a bias control of some sort. Some of them are, oh, wow. All right, so you might want to, if you get one of these, clean it, because there's something coming off of it onto my fenders. Could be crap from this box too. It looks like there's just 3 screws, yep, just 3 screws on each side. Very similar to the PRS MT15. I mean, if this had a metal lunchbox handle, I put metal and handle together if it was Mandel. It would be almost identical. No, it wouldn't. I don't know why I'm saying that, because there's 2 totally different things here. I'm just talking about the construction would be close to identical. Very lightweight. There's almost nothing to this. And I was right. That is just a flat metal bar stock. and it is painted to get the contrast of the letters. So you could potentially take this out and put in your own RGB lighting source if you wanted to. If you're skilled enough to adapt the switches and stuff inside this to change color here when you switch the channel, I'm sure these LEDs, or maybe that one, it indicates channel switching. You could also have it wired to some sort of lighting solution in this and make it RGB of some nature. All right, with that off, we are looking at these are JJ tubes, so Chinese tubes, which that's fine. I hear JJs are pretty nice. There's two EL84s, two 12AX7s. I'm assuming one of these 12AX7s is for your effects loop, and I'm not sure what the other one, oh, this one is probably for the clean channel that you're supposed to be able to use without a module. That's probably what that is, because the other tubes are in the module. You have two 12AX7s in each module that you slide in there. So that would be, with each module you would have two power tubes, your effects loop tube, your clean channel tube, and then the two tubes that are in your module. So that'd be two power tubes, four little ones. Usually with these 12AX7s and EL84s, you have the little carriage cap protector socket solidifier, yep, whatever the hell those things are called. There's none on here, but there are holes in the chassis around the 12AX7s to where you could add some if you wanted, like the little aluminum can style. And this does, it looks a little weird to me because these tubes are kind of, none of them are loose, but these two EL84s are like cocked away from each other, kind of like that. But yeah, there it is in all of its half nakedness. I don't know what kind of magic beans are under this. It looks like you have to remove the feet in order to separate or open up the chassis, I should say, not separate. You see where it the metal ears fold on the front and back. It's like that on both sides. So there's, you remove the feet and then you can open the chassis and do service to it if you need to. Hopefully no one needs to, as though because these just came out. So I mean, if you have one that needs service already, something might be wrong. But let's put this back together before I do something I can't undo. Oop. I do kind of want to look into that whole lighting solution behind the emblem now that I know that there's basically nothing there. I think that would be pretty cool. Even if it wasn't channel switching or something, you know, you could just have some kind of a colored LED, you know, as a like extra power on indicator. That would be pretty cool. And unfortunately, I don't have any preamp pedals any longer. So if I were to hook up a pedal just into the clean channel or in the effects loop, I would have to use my Tonex pedal, which would be kind of cheating. Well, not cheating, I guess, but it would kind of be the same thing as running a module in this, only not the same functionality. But we will play with it. Do something with it. I mean, got it here, right? And no, this is not sponsored. Nobody is sending me stuff, and that's cool. I tried to get somebody to send me an amp to try out. That was try and check out. That's the same, try out. I tried to get the guy that's building amps to send me an amp and let me, you know, demo it for him, because we're both kind of small time, and he seemed like he was on board at first, and a couple of weeks went by and didn't hear anything from him. So I contacted him and was like, hey, you know, what's up? You know, what do I need to do to build some trust with you and, you know, make this relationship work? And he was basically like, oh yeah, you know, everybody has to start somewhere. Thought the conversation was sounding a little hopeful, and it ended up with a 10% off coupon to his website. And I mean, that's admirable, but, you know, you kind of give 10% off coupons to everybody. Or, you know, that's one of those things you could just throw out there. And I mean, that's fine. But I'm not going to spend that kind of money on something that has no... I'm not going to drop more than $1,000 on something that no one is sharing anything about. They also had told me that they worked with other content creators, if you will, and had no problem with, you know, checking me out and all that stuff, and that's fine. And again, I know I'm a nobody, and I'm not expecting them to give me anything or free stuff. I was just thinking, hey, you know, we're both underdogs, let's work together, and it didn't work out. It's kind of sad, but that's okay. Yeah, that stuff is definitely off of whatever's on my hand is from the box. But yeah, there she is. Again, I apologize that I do not have a module to test out right now. The SLO2 module will be here in a few days. It'll be days for me, but it'll only be seconds for you. If you're watching. You may not be watching. That's okay. I'm sure most everybody has seen everything that these can do anyway, and just watching someone else do it again is kind of redundant. I get it. But I am one of those, I mean, I change my mind on the way I want my stuff to sound almost every day that I turn my gear on. And having something like this, to where, you know, one day if I want that 5150 sound, I can put in a 6505 module. If I want that Soldano sound, I can put in that module. If I want, you know, 80s, 90s Metallica, I can put in 2CP. And the point I'm trying to make here is, at $400 per module, you could basically have all of your dream amps, mostly because they don't have a module for everything that would be a dream amp for everybody. Right now, the one that I want is the Killer Cali. Are you listening? Somebody find one for me. There's like one dude with that module out there, and he's not sharing. Selfish prick. I'm kidding. But yeah, it would be Sorry, I know that ice sound is probably annoying. Yeah, of all of the ones that I've heard everyone else demo and do playthroughs and whatnot, the Killer Cali is the one I like the most. That and the Freyet Deliverance, which no one can get. But anyways, I guess I'll be back when I get a module. Welcome back. I got a module, and I have already been like messing with it. Of course, you know, I'm a little impatient and I get excited and I like to play with things before. I don't know, figuring it out on camera seems like it might be a little embarrassing. So I don't really do that. I mean, I'll try it at some point, and I guess some people like that, but I actually tried to order the Freyet Deliverance module because that's, from all the other videos that I watched, that's the one that I liked the most. But when I found one that was actually in stock and ordered it, someone else had bought it right before I did, so I didn't get it, and I ended up getting the SLO2 module instead. I like it pretty well. It's not really doing it for me. I mean, I've played, I've gone to Guitar Center and sat down with an SLO30 and I loved it. Playing this here is weird. Maybe it's the dynamics of the room or the acoustics of the room. Maybe it's my 2x12 versus the 1x12 that they had there. And it could also be just this setup here. And I'll explain that in a minute. But I've got it set up. Everything's already toasty. I am running this through the balanced out directly into the interface. You run it without a cab hooked up, with the master volume on the amp turned all the way down, and no cabs or cables hooked up to any of the outputs. That's what it says in the instruction manual, so that's what we did. Anyways, you turn this all the way down, and the reactance basically does nothing because you're not using the power section. You're basically just running the preamp through the balanced out into the interface. When I ran this into my 2x12, I could die. I mean, I don't know how well you can see. Maybe I can zoom in there a little. The bass is almost completely dialed out, and I don't know if it's an issue with this module or the amp itself, but playing through my 2x12, I would have to take all of the bass out because it would just lose all of its top end and just get severely flubby and bassy. I mean, it sounded like a really, really bad bass guitar amp. Like no tone shaping or anything. It was just that kind of bad. Not crazy about it. Not loving it so far. I do think that this is an excellent design, and I'm not bashing Synergy. I want to make that very clear. Let me back out here again. I want to make that very clear. I am not bashing Synergy. I love this idea, you know, especially for poor people like me who have to go with budget-minded, you know, products, because who has $3,000 to drop on an SLO? Not most of us don't. Although I would say that, you know, who has $1,200 to drop on this, which I didn't. I made trades for it. This I actually bought through Zounds and then found the module locally, because for some reason you can't get the SLO2 through Zounds. But there again, who has $1,000 for this and then another $500 for the module? Most of the people, especially watching my video, don't have that kind of money. that's still in the kind of in the boutique territory. I mean, especially when you could pick up a like a MT15 for 600 to 800, or the Invective mini head or 6505 mini head between 400 and 700, depending on where you find one. I mean, even older 5150s and 6505s, 6534s, that kind of stuff, you're still going to find them cheaper than this setup. This is not what I would say. It's a great way for someone who wants to own a bunch of different amps, who can't afford $50,000 to have one of their favorite, you know, each one of their favorite amps. This is a great alternative. If you have $10,000, I'm not saying it costs that much. I don't know what the actual cost of one of these and all of their modules would be. I'm gonna say somewhere in the ballpark, and you could, you know, buy those over time and still get all of the different flavors that you want. And I think that that's really the idea here, is that you can have all of the different flavors and it works great, sounds great, especially if you're in a studio setup where you're not going to be running this with these the structure channels and built-in IRs. You don't even have to have a cab. You could run this thing directly into your interface like I'm doing now, which, like I said, I don't know what's going on with this thing. When companies build these things, they build 100,000 of them, and there is always a possibility that I got one that has an issue. That's not against them. It's, you know, manufacturer's defects happen. That's why there are guarantees and warranties and such. But I'm probably not going to keep this one. I'm probably going to end up sending it back because it's just not a pleasurable experience in the room. Again, I believe that it's just this unit that I got. I don't think it's anything wrong with Synergy or their products. Which, yeah. Anyways, boutique amp manufacturers, BAM. It's kind of funny, but I think it's all owned by Friedman, which is kind of cool, I guess. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But without further ado, I'll do a little jam session here, if you will. I am using my favorite Telecaster. I say favorite, it's my only Telecaster, but it's the sweet ass Telecaster. Let's turn this off and that off. And I'm not going to do the whole "this is how you dial it in" thing, because there are crap tons of videos out there. I really don't know why I'm making a video on this thing, because there's already a crap ton of videos out there. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. But this structure and IR thing that they've got going on here, and you hook this up to your computer and use their little editing program, you can extract all of the IRs that are contained in this head. You have 4 on tap, but I think there's like 12 or 14 that you can have access to if you extract them from here, and then you can go into the software and swap them out for whichever one you think sounds best. Right here on the factory number 3, that's the one I think sounds best, but I will switch between them. So that's pretty cool for, again, like if you're using it in a studio or you're going to run it into your DAW and you don't like the sound you're getting, you can just hit the IR button and switch between them. You could simultaneously have this running into one computer and have another computer hooked up through the USB on the back of this, and swap out all the different IRs, as well as swap in some of your own if you don't like any of the ones it comes with, and just record into, you know, whichever DAW you use. I use Logic. And you don't have to worry about, say if you have remote collaboration with people and you want to send a track to a buddy and you send it to him and then he opens it and all he gets is the DI signal because he doesn't own the same plugins as you, and you can't, for some reason it doesn't record that way. But doing it this way, you're recording the output signal from this into the DAW, so whatever you're hearing you're recording and you send that to a buddy, that's what he's going to hear. That's what he's going to be able to practice along with or record over and, you know, collaborate with you on, which that's an issue I've had in the past, which is why I bring it up. I don't know if anybody else is doing that, but anyway, you can change the structure for each one of these as well. The reactance does work if you're not using the power amp, so I was wrong on that. Totally lost it. There it is. I mean, there's not really a whole bunch to cover that somebody else hasn't already covered. I mean, it's a great module. I like the Soldanos. I like most of their stuff. I like the idea that this represents. I think it's a wonderful idea. Personally, cannot wait for the Fortin Killer Kali module. But I will have to wait until I get another one of these heads, or maybe the desktop insert module. The only thing that sucks about that is that you lose the ability to load IRs directly in the same unit. Doing it the other way, I would have to have an IR loader in the DAW, which, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You can get free IR loaders, and I've got tons of IRs in there, so it's not really that big a deal. It does kind of suck that I may have a defective unit. For the most part, it operates the way it's supposed to, except for when you use an external cab. I don't know what the deal is with that. I wouldn't think it was the module, because, you know, the whole preamp section works pretty good running into the DAW. It doesn't flub out. You don't lose your top end or anything like that. Again, it's just an issue that I am having with this one unit. It has nothing to do with, you know, I don't think that it's an issue that all of these are going to have. Who knows? This one may have been dropped in shipping. You really don't know. I mean, it could have happened at any point between where it was shipped from and the time it got here. It could be that one of those EL84 tubes is bad. I'm pretty sure in the beginning of this that I showed that one of them looked like it was kind of cocked over, so it could just be that. But I don't want a chance servicing it myself and having to eat the costs on that, so probably just going to send this one back. Hopefully when I get another one it doesn't do that, but we'll just have to see. Anyways, if you stuck around this long, thanks for watching. If I didn't answer any questions that you might have, feel free to berate me over it. It's fine. You can always ask more questions. There's no stupid questions. Yeah. Do the thing if you want to do the thing. If you don't want to do the thing, you don't have to. It's cool. I'm not going to beg you for it. But I appreciate you watching anyway.